What's up, everybody? This is Dale from Upstate Bets and DFS. And if you guys haven't noticed, top of the screen, man, Prize Picks is here with us now. Yeah, this is some news we've been waiting to give you guys. And yeah, if you guys are interested in signing up for Prize Picks, our promo code is Upstate, and we appreciate your support on everything so far. Our Prize Picks videos are doing so good. They're really our most successful videos on this channel, and we're honestly really happy to have this opportunity. Um, so we're just gonna get right into it, man. It's a 5 game slate here. If you watched our Firefly video for DraftKings, we kind of labeled it as slim picking. The one really good game here, in my opinion, is this Dallas Miami game. Porzingis looks like he's gonna be missing some time, but we'll see. He is questionable, as well as Bam Adebayo in that game. So um, we're just gonna be looking at a couple things here. Off the top, the first guy I like the first guy I like here is Giannis, and he's at 31 fantasy points, 31 points, and it might seem a little bit high. He's only gotten there twice this year, but Middleton's out, Brook Lopez is out, obviously Drew Holiday is out, and this is a Detroit team he can really take advantage of. So, I mean, he's really got to do it all. I mean, at fantasy score, he's listed at 57 and a half. I still think he can get there too. Obviously, he can smash any night, but for points here, I do kind of like him.
Yeah, I mean, just with Middleton being out and Brook Lopez, I mean, his usage is going to be probably 60-70% with this on this for this team, so he's in a good spot. A little bit lower, I like Halliburton. We kind of talked about him a couple prize picks videos ago, and he ended up hitting for us, and his points are still too low for me, the amount of shots that he takes. He's very involved in this offense. I know they have that rookie Mitchell and De'Aaron Fox is always there, and Harrison Barnes is always producing, but I think his points is just way too low. I mean, he's got a tough matchup against the Jazz, but I really like him here. Donovan Mitchell's not a great defender, so I think he's really going to pick apart him. And we've seen on the last four of the five, he's hit this number. So I really like Halliburton.
Oh yeah, Halliburton. We're on him in DraftKings too. I'm hoping that he has a pretty big game. He's been shooting double-digit shot attempts lately too, so he's not really firing a lot of shots from deep. If he can start to get the three ball going, he can get there pretty easy. And then two other guys so far, Grayson Allen. I think he's in a really good spot with all the injuries on Milwaukee. Definitely a guy that can stretch the floor. If he gets going from deep, I think that's going to be pretty easy for him to get there. And then Luka, with Porzingis being questionable, he's at 24 and a half. He hasn't been scoring the ball great this year. I feel like he's got off to a little bit of a slow start this season, but he's at 24 and a half, and I do like him there as well. And then we'll
Yeah,
have.
and the last guy,
Okay,
oh,
you got someone on points still?
yeah,
Okay.
the last guy I'm going to talk about for points is Rudy Gobert. He's sitting at 13 and a half. He struggled last game against Milwaukee, but he's just been smashing this year. We talked about his rebounds that he grabs a ton of boards, and I really like Gobert. He shoots the ball way more than you would think for a center. It's not like they run the offense through him, but he gets a lot of putbacks. He's always there on the offensive glass, so I think he cleans up a bunch tonight, and I like that over 13 and a half.
Hopping over to rebounds, a couple guys. Well, for me, there's just about one guy here that I do like a little bit, and I mean, I like Rashawn Holmes. We're on him in DraftKings a little bit too. It might be a little tough matchup against Gobert, but he's gone against Gobert already this season, and in the slim minutes that he had against Gobert, he cleaned up the glass pretty well. He had like 6 rebounds at about like 18 minutes, but he got into some foul trouble. His problem is just staying on the court. So I think if you're a little bit shaky going to him, nervous about foul trouble, I think you can look at someone like Luka too, with Porzingis being inactive. If he does sit. Luka's a guy obviously that can get a triple double, so I think that he's not in a bad spot.
Yeah, I like both of them. I'm definitely on Luca, maybe a little bit more just on the fact that if Porzingis does miss, he'll have to grab a couple more boards. And we always like to say he's triple double upside. I don't think we've seen one yet this year. And against Miami, I mean, if Porzingis is out, he's gonna have a monster game to compete. So I like Luca here. And then one more guy I'm gonna touch on is Jeremy Grant. He grabs a bunch of boards. He's the vocal point of this team. They love running everything through him. We saw last year he took a step forward and was just an absolute monster for uh, for the Pistons. And I think 4 is just way too low for the amount of run he gets. I mean, the last 4 or 5, he's gotten over it easily. So I'm not entirely sure uh, why the line is so low, but I love taking advantage of lines that are low. So this is the one I really like.
Yeah, I like Jeremy Grant too. I like him as a player. Obviously, I'm a Syracuse guy, so it's nice seeing Grant uh, playing well in the league right now. So him over 4 is definitely pretty solid. Over at assists too, it's a little slim over here in this category. Someone I like though is also Grayson Allen here. I think just he's going to get a pretty good usage bump in this game. He was dealing with a knee issue, which leaves him questionable right now, but it looks like he's probable uh, on DraftKings. So I mean, we'll see, but I'm assuming he's going to play, and he's not much of a playmaker. But I just think like there's no game log or there's nothing you can kind of look at to that kind of gives you like a good hope that this is gonna hit. And he's literally have like one assist, maybe no assist, in a lot of his games. But it's just the fact that he really does get a usage bump with two scores being out. So we'll see.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you with Middleton being out, and that's why I'm going to take this next guy. I like Giannis here, 6.5. I mean, he's probably going to handle the ball more than you would expect. He's probably going to bring it up a lot and really just run this offense the entire game. Detroit's not a great team, but they're not a bad team by any means. So 6.5 here. We've seen him hit it. We've seen him not even come close to it. But I think this is a game where he's going to have to do a lot of things, and assist is going to be a big one for them to keep this close. So I like over 6.5.
Yeah, and then I mean Harrison Barnes plays a good amount of minutes too. Like he's not known for his playmaking obviously, but he's averaging more than 2 assists on the season. So if you want to go based on averages, you can look there. And Fox is a guy that plays a bunch of minutes, obviously handles the ball as well. That should be um a game that Sacramento is really trying to win. Obviously, Utah definitely can win like 70 games in the regular season. They're just an amazing regular season team. So they're no slouch. Obviously, that has some blowout potential. So we'll see. And then if you have anybody else here, we can talk about them, or we head over to 3 pointers.
I like the De'Aaron Fox. Like you said, he handles the ball a bunch, and he's got a bunch of scorers around him that help him get the assists. So I like De'Aaron Fox as well.
At 3 pointers made, um, only 8 guys here. But there's a couple decent lines. Luca, he's sitting at 3. I mean, we've been on him at the 3 pointer, a couple times this season. He's only gotten 3 once, and then he's just been shooting the ball 23%. But it's like that same thing we talked about with Bradley Beal. It's just like you can't expect like someone like Luca to shoot 23% on the season. You expect that to get like 35% as the season goes on. So this is a spot too where he can definitely get there. In my opinion, Jeremy Grant's at 1.5 too, and even Giannis, he's at 1. Some games he doesn't shoot any. So I mean, it's just one of those. It might be like a little bit of a sucker bet, but sometimes when he does, when his jumper's on, he can hit 2 or 3 of them. So
Yeah, I like the Giannis one. We saw last game he hit 3 of them, and then a couple games before he hit 3. So I think he's starting to feel a little more confident. He's got his feet underneath him, and we know he takes them. It's all about just making them. So um, the one doesn't really scare me. I think he's gonna at least get one. It might be a push, but that's not bad.
and as well as Bogdan Bogdanovic, like we haven't been on him much this season, but he is a pretty good scorer. He's at 2. Um, if you want to take a stab at him, go ahead. Like this has a chance to possibly blow out. So he's a guy that you can look at because he's gonna have to contribute to that to shoot a bunch of threes. So no really interest in anyone else here rather than pretty much Giannis, Luca. So that's pretty much it for me. And then we can hop to fantasy score if you're ready.
Yeah.
And then who do you like in the fantasy score? We got a couple more players here. We got some Heat guys, stuff like that. So who do you like?
I like Kyle Lowry. I know he hasn't had that great of a season so far. He finally got things turned around in his last game. He had 38 fantasy points. So I think he's in a good spot here against Dallas. Dallas is a little banged up, but regardless, I don't think they're going to have Luca on him. They'll probably have Hardaway, who is a good defender, but either way, I think he's in a great spot, and his fantasy score is a little too low for me.
I'm right back on Allen here at 22 and a half. You know, like I said, he's out there, he's stretching the floor, and I just think I don't know, it's about right there for what he's been getting on the season. But like I said, the usage should go up a little bit. That's a tough matchup in my opinion for Luka. I like more of his like single stats, some of his single stats a little bit more than his fantasy score. He's got to go over 50, but with the triple double upside, that's definitely a spot for him that he can get. Um, and then another guy that jumps right out to me is Tyler Hero. Just been an amazing spark off the bench for that team, and his averages are crazy on the season. If you just look at just averages, 22, 6, and 4 for Tyler Hero so far, which is amazing. He's only gotten under that one game so far, and that was in a game he only played 27 minutes, and that was against Brooklyn, where he was struggling a little bit, shooting 5 for 17. But he's shooting 40% from deep on the season. So I think this is kind of one of those situations where you kind of ride a hot hand. Because he has just been scoring the ball so well this season. But who knows? This just might be the player he is for the rest of the year. So I like Hero too. I think this is a little bit of a discount.
Yeah, Tyler Hero's been smashing this year, so I don't mind that line at all. But to kind of stay in the same game, I like Jalen Brunson. He's been smashing this year for the run that he's been getting. He went on um, in late October. He was smashing for over 30 fantasy points back to back games. We've seen him slow down a little bit, but he did have two pretty tough matchups. And if Porzingis is out, he's just going to get more run, more usage, and 20 and a half is way too low for me. Especially for the kind of guy that he is. If he doesn't score the points, he's always got assists, rebounds, and steals. But he always does get the points. So I like Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, I don't mind Brunson there. He's always a pretty viable DraftKings play. So we like Brunson, especially when if Luka does struggle, he's a guy that can step in the offense and perform pretty well. Even any of those backcourt guys, someone like Hardaway Jr. if he's struggling too, he can come in and kind of give this offense a little bit of a boost. For me, the last guy I want to talk about is Jovel. Obviously, Brandon Ingram is questionable. There's really no props for him out as we speak. But yeah, Valanciunas, man. He's just been absolutely smashing this Pelicans team as a whole. I don't really know what to make of him, but I just know that he's really one of the only bright spots. Him and Ingram, so far, he's averaging a double double with ease right now. He's averaging 19 and 14. He's been blocking one shot a game, and he's just been getting over that every single game besides for the first two. But now that he's so involved in the offense, he's even stretching the floor a little bit. And then obviously with Ingram being out, it's just a straight up uptick for him. So even below him, Alexander Walker, not in a bad spot, but I like Jovel so much more in this game, and I just think that it's a pretty good spot. Even Ayton is questionable, so if Ayton misses, that's better for him. But even if Ayton plays, I don't see it being an issue.
Oh yeah, Jovel's been smashing this year. We've already saw a 2020 game out of him. So the fantasy score, his rebounds and his points seem to always go over. So I really like Jovel with you.
And then if that's good for you, we can wrap it up.
Yeah,
So we got a couple guys that we talked about here. You know, obviously, like I said, um, it's pretty slim on this slate. It's a 5 game slate, but sometimes these are sometimes these are the better ones, and there's some inactive. So I think that we got a couple discounts on some guys. Like we talked Grayson Allen, a couple different categories. Jovel I think's in an awesome spot in this fantasy score. Giannis gets a huge uptick with some people being out. So we'll see. And this Miami and Dallas game looks good, but we never know between the two. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but sometimes Miami can just completely just destroy a team and then they can lose to a bad team. So we'll kind of see what we make about this slate. I'm excited to get to it. And then if you haven't checked out our DraftKings video yet, go check that out. We give out 5 picks that we like on our DraftKings slate. You can either build a lineup about it, or you can kind of just kind of plug in the ones that we give you, and then you can try to find some other players that you like. So those are always pretty good videos. If you want to go check those out, definitely do that. And as always, be responsible when you're playing Prize Picks. Sometimes we think that things are locks, and last video I was really on DeJounte Murray. I was assuming that was going to be a lock, but he didn't hit in a blowout. So blowouts happen, injuries happen. So there's no really such thing as a lock. So like I said, be responsible, and good luck to you guys on this Tuesday night slate, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.